right here, and in this video we're going to talk about how to make your pressure washer last longer. So we're going to start with the number 2 most important thing to do, and that is changing your oil and keeping it up to the proper level. Before using, always check the level of your oil and make sure it's topped off. Also, I recommend changing your oil the first time after about 5 hours of use. After that, change it either annually or after 50 hours of use. Now this is a good time for my standard disclaimer. This is what I do, and this video is for entertainment purposes only. Be sure to check the manual for your pressure washer on what they recommend. Be sure to use the correct oil for your pressure washer. In my case, it's 1030 or 30, so I'm going with 1030. Third would be your air filter. I suggest checking the air filter about every 3 months. Make sure it's clean, make sure it's dry, make sure there's no oil or anything getting into it. That'll indicate there's an issue. Now, generally speaking, a dirty air filter is not going to hurt the engine, but it will help keep it performing as it should. So annually, maybe every 100 hours, check your spark plug. If it needs replaced, replace it. This is one of those things that if your spark plug goes bad, it's generally not going to hurt the engine. It just won't start or it won't run right. So to keep it operating at its maximum, change your spark plug about every year. If you're in a state that has a spark arrestor, you'll want to check it, clean out any carbon annually. If you have a fuel filter, some will have fuel filters, be sure to replace those annually or roughly 100 hours. So these engines have valves, and you can check the valve flash probably every couple years, couple 100 hours. You'll want to check those. Now most people will not be able to check those. If yours is running okay, honestly, I wouldn't worry about it too much, but if you wish, you could take it somewhere to have them checked. Be sure you're using the correct gasoline for your engine. This particular one says it's okay with up to 10% ethanol. Others are not. So check the manual to make sure. At the end of the season, I suggest either running it out of gas or buying a fuel stabilizer so that the fuel doesn't become bad while setting, and then the next spring you have a hard time getting it started because you got bad gas. As far as keeping it clean, I recommend when it's cold just using a cloth. Wipe it off with a cloth. Do not use the pressure washer on itself, especially if the engine is hot. Okay, you're still watching? Good. So here is the number 1 way to make your pressure washer last. It has nothing to do with the engine. It's the pump. What too many people do is they allow the pump to burn up. So what you need to do before you ever start it, have the water connected, the fresh water connected, and have it on, and let water run through till it's coming out the end before you ever start it. Then you can start it, check your manual to see if it needs to warm up the engine. It shouldn't need to warm up very long at all. Then start spraying. While that engine is running, that pump is running always, and that pump creates heat. The heat is what kills your pump. There's seals in there, and it will burn out the seals early. So what you want to do is, whenever possible, if the engine's running, have water spraying out of it. You can stop spraying for a minute or so. You don't have to go overboard on it to move it, or however, whatever you need to do. But if you need to leave it for more than just maybe a couple minutes, I suggest turning it off. And when you turn the engine off, you still have, it's still hot. The pump is still hot, the engine's still hot. You want to run water through it. Why? Because that's going to cool the pump. It's going to cool all those parts, and that will make it last much longer. Now, some may be thinking, but wait, there's a pressure relief valve. Yes, there is a pressure relief valve, and it's there because people don't have water running. They'll have the engine running without water flowing to cool it. The pump gets hot. The water starts vaporizing. It's called boiling. It builds up pressure, and that forces the pressure relief valve to pop open and spray water all over your hot engine. It's not good for your engine. It probably isn't going to crack it, but it's not good for it. But more importantly, all those seals in that pump were subjected to heat that they didn't need. Again, this is a video on how to make it last longer. If you want your residential, in this case, this is a residential pressure washer to last, 2-3 years, maybe 5 at the most, then just, do whatever you want, and that most likely your pump will go out within, on average, probably 3 years. If, depending on how often you use it. If you want this to last, try to keep it cool, have water flowing through it. When you turn it off, run water through it, let it cool down, and that is the #1 way to make your pressure washer last. So I hope that was helpful. If so, please like, subscribe, comment, and good luck with yours.